Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into the video. This is Troy here. Well, as we all know, our government and our state and local governments are always trying to infringe on our Second Amendment rights, and you know, just recently with the our U.S. government trying to impose gun control measures and different things like that, which thank goodness didn't pass. We're always on the lookout for you know, things that are happening with our Second Amendment rights. And I want to play this video. I actually recorded it off a local TV station here in the Tampa area this evening, which is this is July 1st of 2013, talking about background checks, and it'll mention statistics as far as and this is for 2010, on how many background checks that there were, how many were denied, and because it's against the law, of course, for a felon to have any type of firearms, but also it's against the law for them to even apply for a background check to you know, get a gun, and it's also against the law for somebody to lie on those forms too as well. And they'll talk about statistics as far as how many people were denied because of that, and the shocking number of people that are actually prosecuted for that. So let me show you that video. It's about a 3-minute and 15-second or so video, and then I'll come back and I'll actually show you the statistics from the I believe it's from the Department of Justice. So watch the video, and then we'll come back and we'll show those from the Department of Justice.
Most Americans support some version of that. But how good of a job are authorities doing enforcing the laws that are already on the books? Our investigative reporter Doug Smith takes a closer look tonight at this and found some alarming numbers across the country and right here in the Tampa Bay area.
Most everybody has an opinion when it comes to guns.
I think there's a need for something better than what we have.
And the role of our government.
If you have a problem giving out your information when you're buying a gun, then you shouldn't have a gun.
I think they should do that, because then you'll know what kind of idiots you're dealing with.
The recent talk in Congress about moving to universal background checks would close a loophole by requiring not just gun stores that sell to the public, but also private sellers to check someone's background for a criminal past. Nationwide background checks were created under the Brady Act in the early 90s, then later included the implementation of the National Instant Background Check System called NICS. The law requires licensed gun dealers to check with law enforcement before making a sale. In Florida, that's FDLE. The goal is to prevent felons and people who don't check out from getting their hands on a gun, and it's a federal crime if they even try. But how often is that enforced?
Virtually nobody is actually arrested and convicted of attempts to illegally buy a gun in a gun store.
Fox 13 took a look at the numbers across the nation and in the Tampa Bay area. The most recent figures from the Justice Department show there were more than 76,000 denials in 2010. But just 62 cases ended up in the prosecutor's office, and only 13 resulted in a guilty verdict or plea. U.S. Senator John Cornyn from Texas highlighted the issue to fellow lawmakers earlier this year.
Gun crime prosecutions are down across the board, including enforcement of laws against lying on background checks.
Knowingly making a false statement on a background check is a crime that carries a 5-year maximum sentence in federal prison. What are the numbers in the Tampa Bay area? Fox 13 requested the records from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the last 3 years, and we found there was not even one prosecution.
Does that surprise you? No, it's kind of appalling, but it doesn't surprise me.
Professor Gary Kleck is a criminologist at FSU and a leading expert in the area of gun control laws who's written several books.
How easy would it be to make a case against somebody trying to buy a gun when they're not supposed to? It would be very easy. A lot of gun stores have security cameras where you've actually videotaped the attempt to purchase the gun, and they could easily just phone the local police department and say, there's this illegal sale going on. Why don't you send a patrol car over there? And of course, it'd be the easiest arrest imaginable, the easiest conviction a prosecutor could possibly want.
It's such a huge problem. but there's got to be something done. We just can't completely ignore it.
Of course, many times criminals trying to buy a gun will not even subject themselves to a criminal background check. But if they do, and they're caught, records show there is almost no chance they'll be punished. Doug Smith, Fox 13.
Okay, so those are some pretty staggering numbers. So this is the website you can go to pull up these numbers. And like I said, this is for 2010. And this is from the U.S. Department of Justice. So once again, for 2010, there was 6,037,394 applications for background checks in that year, and there was 72,659 that were denied, and that's a 1.2%. And then you can see as far as 34,459 were denied because there was a felony indictment of the person or a conviction, which that was 47.4%. And then you can see down the line state law prohibition over 7,000, misdemeanor convictions over 4,000, restraining orders 3,000, actual fugitives that were actually applying for to get a gun over 13,000, illegal or non-immigrant alien over 500, and you can see mental illness 1,292, and so forth and so on, drug use, and we all know that the mental illness is part of what has been in the foreground lately, because most of a lot of these mass shootings happen with people that do have some type of a mental illness that have been not treated, and it's been reported that a lot of states are not reporting these names to the state registry, so these people can be denied guns. But that's not what the story is about. So we say over 72,000 people that are denied. But then, as far as and it's said in the story, and I encourage people to look at this website. It'll give you different stats and different ways of looking at it. So then you come down to there was only 62 charges total brought out of those over 72,000 people that were denied because of they were, they shouldn't be applying for guns to begin with, which is just a ridiculous amount of charges that were not brought. And then if we look even farther, there was, I believe, it was a total of 13 convictions, or even convictions or people that actually pled guilty out of all of those 62. So we got a total of 13 verdicts out of over 72,000 that were denied. So that is just absolutely crazy. So when you look at it, earlier this year, when President Obama and Feinstein and others were wanting to do background checks for private sales, and were wanting to do other gun control measures as far as assault weapons ban proposals, and limiting the amount of what a magazine can hold. They have to get the laws in order that they already have. And it sounds like the laws are in place, are working, because these people are not getting the guns, but then there's no prosecution. So for one thing, that's over 72,000 criminals. That's pretty fucking stupid, excuse my language, for them to even apply for guns. I guess maybe they were testing the system, or like I said, they're probably stupid criminals. But then there's no recourse for them to try to do this. So they'll just either continue to do it, or finally get some smarts and figure out that they're not going to get one. But they're still going to get a gun anyway. If they can't get it the legal way, they're just going to do what most criminals do and buy one off the street, or steal one, or whatever. So I encourage everybody to look up this website, it also lists as far as the states with the highest denials, and some of you might be surprised with that, some of you might not be, and it's worth looking at. But it's also just, you know, showing what our government is all about, as far as you know, wanting to pass more and more you know, gun control measures and legislations when they're, you know, they don't have what's already on the books. It's being it's working, but they're not then prosecuting these people, and that's not really the totally on the fault of the United States government. As far as it's up to the state's attorneys then to prosecute these cases, and that's where these they're just, you know, just letting them go, because I guess they just don't want to deal with it, and probably, you know, it's a lot of taxpayer money and all that, but you know, what are the laws there for? So that's the video. I hope that it enlightened everybody on what's going on in this country, and we already knew that already, but then this just goes to show you that, I mean, it's in black and white. And so that's the video. Let me know what you guys think, and don't forget to give the like if you do like the video. As always, thanks for supporting the Mr. Troy Hunter channel, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.